Okay, Tarot for Our Times. This is Sarah, your medium on the go, and I wanted to talk about the recent visit of King Charles. I still want to call him Prince Charles. King Charles to Canada, and the speech that he gave about Canadian sovereignty, and definitely trashing of Trump without mentioning his name. So, who else could that be but the King of Swords? And if you look at my thumbnail, I do have him as King Charles. Um, the King of Swords is the sword, of course, does represent truth and honesty. But the thing about this card, this king, is when he's upright, he is holding the sword very steady. He does not wield it like slash and slash, all that sort of thing. This guy is subtle. That's why a lot of times this is associated with lawyers and judges. So in that speech that I heard parts of it yesterday, which would have been on Tuesday. This is Wednesday. You'll be seeing this Thursday. So I noticed that he really did a number on Trump, and I thought, oh boy, the ketchup bottles are going to fly tonight, until I started seeing some of his reactions, and he was talking about, oh, Canada's really listening to us about becoming the 51st state, and the king was saying how it's a sovereign nation. He didn't. I mean, didn't have to say, it's, he just pretty much generalized, saying that we're going to support them from anybody trying to take it over. So I know that Trump is not. He doesn't do nuanced, but I didn't think he was this obtuse. I can't even believe I was giving him credit, because I really thought, oh, this is going to send him over the edge. But very interesting, since his name wasn't mentioned, hello, anybody home? So, I find this very, very, very interesting. I think, I can't believe someone could be that gullible. So it does bring up some questions, like, or what does this all mean? I mean, the whole fact of not only the speech, which was very well delivered in English, and of course he was not going to understand the French parts, although it was, that was a courtesy of going back and forth between the two languages. But I want to see what this is going to mean for the U.S. and the rest of the world, as well as that trip coming up in September, if that's still going to happen. But he didn't get insulted. He didn't get insulted at all to say, I call the trip off. I think he really thinks like, ha ha ha, we kings are going to get together and whatever. Okay. So I want to find that out. And then I want to do another reading about this whole nonsense with annexing Canada. It's another one of those things, like the rest of the world is laughing about that, but yeah, you have to take him for, he has no sense of humor, no sense of irony, that he's saying if he wants to annex Canada, he wants to annex Canada. Now, if he finds that the rest of the world is going to go against him, which it will, he'll walk it back and spin it like I didn't want it anyway. Okay, because he was talking about if they do they do the dome. Well, they're coming in on the dome anyway. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. So I do want to start the readings about what this means to us and the rest of the world, and I suspect that trip to the UK it's been rough for the royal family, King Charles has been fighting cancer, although I'd say he looked pretty good. He really, I expected him to be like totally emaciated, but he didn't really look bad at all. 77 years old. Oh wait, he's the Scorpio, so he won't be. So he's 70. No, he's 76. He'll be 77 in November. I mean, he's looking good. He's not looking like a spring chicken, but considering he's been going through God only knows what kind of treatments he's. I was surprised that he looked as good as he did, because that really beats the hell out of you. So at any rate, I want to see what the deal is. Okay. So, we are starting off with the Eight of Wands. Upright. Eight of Wands. Okay. So, it looks like the rest of the world is with the UK and with Canada, and that I would say that might be jumping to the next reading, but it looks as though they're pretty much aligned. They're ready to do anything if our military is stupid enough to try to invade Canada. So this is pretty much about him saying, we're ready. Let them try it. We're ready. And things would happen pretty fast. So the energy around that is, the Queen of Wands, all these wands. Queen of Wands in reverse. So I would say this is probably the Trump's petulant, attitude and gimme, gimme, gimme. And, of course, the fact that Queen of Wands in reverse in infidelity, and that this isn't about love of the U.S., that this may be something to do with his love of dictatorships. So, okay, so with the before leading up to this is, the Lovers. Okay. So in this before, if it were upright, the guy's kind of like getting ready to, she's ready, he's ready, they're kind of getting ready to get it on, so to speak. And it's in reverse, so it seems as though that isn't going to be happening. I will have to say that, sadly enough, that this is U.S. and Canada, that this alliance, since before both of these countries were even formed, is like, I would say that in reverse, this guy doesn't want to go anywhere near her, which is how they feel about the U.S. So, okay. And as I say, the rest of the free world is with them. And then the after tarot is, okay, so in this one, the guy is still, caught up in the illusions with this being in reverse. The serpent represents, he's it looks like the thing is ready to bite him. So it's like, as a result of this, it's going to be, he's going to get bit, going to get poisoned. So let's see, quickie underlying stuff with this is, okay. Death in reverse. Death in reverse is a near-death experience, which I think that the United States is going through right now. It's sick, but it isn't fatal. And I think Canada knows it. They know it too. And then we have Page of Wands. in reverse. So this is about a kind of like an infantile temper tantrum, but he hasn't had it though. That's so strange that this maybe. Oh, okay. I get it now. Okay. King Charles knows him. Okay. That's why he delivered. I think in a way it's kind of like one of those things only the British can. That's a real art form they have. So he knows that he's dealing with like a possible temper tantrum. So he knows how to deliver the speech, really put him down, but he knows that the guy isn't bright enough to get that. So this is King Charles, knowing what he's dealing with, gives that speech out of the side of his mouth, knowing he's completely trashing him, but the idiot will never pick that up. So the king is still pretty sharp, I have to say that. Okay. Queen of Swords in reverse. It's funny because we have the main theme. We have the calm king doing that, but the queen in reverse is like she takes no prisoners. She's the one that's slashing, and it's about malicious gossip and all that sort of thing. That's telling me that this is what the rest of the world is doing. I mean, they're really running with. I mean, and Putin too, with those nudies of his wife all over the internet, and the Chinese with the memes of Vice President Maybelline, all of this stuff. So, this is what the rest of the world is doing. They know that the U.S. is having a near-death experience. How do you treat the toddler, knowing what the toddler is, and the gossip and the malicious talk. This is where we are at. So, in opposition, we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so to me, this speaks of the rest of the world aligning with Canada, the EU, and this sort of thing. And so they're figuring out new trade agreements that could be very, very, very popular. I would say, I guess off the top of my head, if they're not going to buy Kentucky bourbon, they're probably going to be buying Irish whiskey, and I'm betting the Irish are giving them really good deals on Jamesons and Bushmills, just to, because they know they'll make it in the volume and that. So that's going to replace Old Granddad and Jack Daniels and all this kind of stuff. Okay. So they are taking, and it's also karma too. This is the whole thing. Karma is waiting in the wings. So in the conscious thoughts, we have, the world in reverse. Consciously, the rest of the world is pretty much against us. And when we do get this straightened out, when he leaves one way or another, we're going to have a lot of unfinished business, because this is about unfinished. Before we can go on to the next cycle, there will be a lot of unfinished business to take care of. So, and we know it, they know it. On the subconscious level, we have, yes, the underlying whole subconscious thing is that really the damage, the bad fruit, the bad bush with the poisonous fruit, and the regret. I want to say what I want to say here is buyer's regret for more and more people that voted for him. It's like, I just thought they were going to kick out the brown people. It's like, let's take the Venezuelans. I thought they were going to kick out the brown ones, but I know people they have blonde ones in South America. My neighbor, She was blonde and blue-eyed. Oh, they threw her out too. Oops, didn't see that coming. So there's that, and then another one is the, the white women who voted for him, and they didn't know they were DEI. Duh. Well, now they know they're DEI, and it goes on and on and on. I guess we can call this the FAFO card, saying, "Oh my God, what did we do?" So this is a subconscious underlying thing that's going on with us, and then a number of the pentacles are with the repercussion of Canada, and boy, are they going to feel it this summer when they're not coming over the border. I don't think people, especially in the border states, I don't think people realize the impact this is going to have, because they've been so taken for granted is coming down. So it's like all the poisonous fruit of the poisonous bush that got planted. Okay, so in the past, we have Judgment in reverse. So this is, when it's upright, it's kind of like the people, it's like a resurrection, people rising up from the grave or their humdrum lives, finding like-minded people and finding their tribe, so to speak. This is like further alienation and judgment. So this is the second this began with the tariffs and we're going to conquer you and yada, yada, yada. This is the bad judgment they have had. This has gone on since the day he took office 100 years ago, which is what it feels like. Okay, so in the present, we have the Queen of Wands again. The Queen of Wands. Okay, the energy of the Queen of Wands, and this is him. This is his attitude. Okay, we had the Queen of Swords here, but okay. So now we have the Queen of Wands, which I think came up somewhere or other. Okay. So we have the good old Queen of Wands. So this is very ill-tempered, the mate to the King of Wands in reverse, of being, the infidelity, all this sort of thing with the female. There's a lot of stuff coming up with him, with really the worst part. I mean, we've seen the worst part of his male energy, which is his chest beating macho stuff. So now we're seeing, but I would also say that she lives with delusions too, and she's upright. She's a pretty sharp cookie and a very good businesswoman. He's been a terrible businessman. He's had everything he's touched has failed. Gambling, casinos, that you've got to really try hard to do that. So this is this is pretty much if it's, and to me this is saying like totally clueless to what all of this meant, because this person, she's narcissistic, she's unfaithful, she's uninspiring, and instead of being that sharp business mind that she is when she's upright, he's totally clueless to what this means and how hysterically funny the rest of the world is finding this. So coming up in the very immediate future is, oh yes, this is so interesting, because to me what this says is he can't hold on to any of those things, like at least the illusion. What he used to have, the illusion of being able to make things happen on a certain level, he did because of showmanship. But now look at this. This guy, all this stuff is floating away. He just cannot hold on to it. Can't hold on to the emotions. This sword is saying, boy, he cannot even tell when he's being mocked. But I mean, that king threw enough shade to prevent people in Florida from getting sunburn. I'm telling you, it's just the money. He can't seem to hold on to I mean, this is going to become more apparent as this speech sinks in, because what he did yesterday, this is kind of like, hey, I'm not only the King of England, but I'm the whole rest of the free world talking to you. And, he really did that on purpose. I have a new admiration for him because he did that on purpose. Then further into the future is, oh, now we have the death card. So this is all the carnage that has been left so far in these very long 5 months now. And I would say this may be just another step towards the death of the regime. Not literally the death, for entertainment purposes only. I'm not saying this is the death of him, although he doesn't have the greatest, he doesn't take care of himself. But I will say this is like just another thing marking the death of the regime, because he completely misunderstood the speech and said, oh yeah, Canada wants to be the 51st state. So this is just, and he may try it. I don't know if the army's going to go along with it, but he may try it. And that's just like, boom, another nail. And then we have, this is a riot. This is the Knight of Cups, bringing the message of love and peace and that sort of thing. But it's like, well, nobody's listening, so I think I'll have a slug of that. So, yeah, this is just not looking, this is not looking good for him. So, in the hopes and fears, we have, just need one. Okay, in the hopes and the fears, he's hoping that the magic will, being completely clueless of the not getting that speech at all, and the delusion of, Canada, our 51st state, and all this kind of stuff. I think the whole thing is that he's hanging on to the hopes that the magic will come back, but the fear is that the magic won't come back. And what that tells me is that he's cognitive enough to know that he's afraid that he has inherited his father's Alzheimer's, and he's pretty much at the same place that his father was at 78 or 79 years, maybe, in his late 70s. So I want to pull a card or two, because part of this package is, what about that trip to the, maybe I'll do a separate shorter reading on that, because it turns out it's a bit of a different subject. Okay, so at any rate, so what we can conclude from this is the Page of Wands. What I think what this whole speech did is that we need to find somebody new to carry the torch. And it's Congress, but it'll be the president. And what this also says is that we need to get younger energy. I mean, for God's sakes, the guy is getting senile. Now, I know lots of people his age who are just like, they're just fine and they're sharp as can be. But this is an example of someone that he shouldn't have been doing this in the first place. But let's just assume that he wasn't a total douchebag. But this is happening, that we can't have that. We need someone young and inspiring to carry the torch on, because he didn't get that speech at all. So I want to do a short read. I think I'll do two short reads, because I think that whole thing with the first, I want to do the Canada annexation, and then I think that it leads naturally into the visit to the UK. So these will be kind of short readings. Okay, so something tells me if the king has gone back to England, which he might have by now, he's got to be laughing his ass off that whole flight back. He really does. I mean, how he gave it with dignity, but I mean, how he did that with a straight face is just amazing. But I guess that's a British thing, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna see what the deal is with Canada. Alrighty, and okay, so do a quickie. So just isn't he? Okay, let's see what's going to happen with that. Will he or won't he try to? It's just so incredible to even think of. Okay, so thing with the Canada thing. Okay, so we have here judgment. Being first of all, it shows very poor judgment to even entertain that, first of all. And then second of all, the world is going to be just judging us in a very bad way. And he's picking up, with Archangel Gabriel, he's misinterpreting the signal, just like he like he did not get the king. He didn't get what the king was saying at all yesterday. Okay. Then we have the energy crossing. That is, unfortunately, the Three of Pentacles. There's no talking with him. There's no reasoning with him. It's even pointless to try. So in opposition of this, we have, it's time to get real. He's not going to get real. It's time for the rest of us to get real. And I would say for the military to get real and just to not go along with this at all. And so in the past, we have the Three of Wands, or the Three of Wands in reverse. Yep, the rest of the world is not with this, and it makes I look at this as the ship of state. It puts it in a very bad place. It's, and it has. Ever since he mentioned this is the way it's been. It's not going to change. It also tells me that Russia and those other countries are, they're thinking, oh gee, I just want to see him try this. And I don't think they would jump in to help him either. If I can't even imagine the troops, but you would have NATO coming in there, and it's just, the whole thing is so preposterous. So in the present, I want to do another pass with the before tarot. Okay. Again, this is just not a good match with our allies. Cups are in reverse, the loss of love. And these people, they're not connected. It's the disconnect. It's just, that was a disconnect from the get-go. So the present, we have Mother Russia in reverse, which is telling me, you know, don't even think that they're don't even think that they're going to be of any help. They are not. They will more than likely stay out of this one. I mean, this, as much as he wants to own the world, he's getting his ass kicked in Ukraine. And no, they don't have the resource. Even if they wanted to, they don't have the resources. So okay, so going a little bit into the future, just a bit into the future. Oh, he just wants to take it all. Okay, one sword is Canada, there's another sword, it's Greenland, and we got the Panama Canal, and who knows, maybe a couple others really stupid ones. He's looking at those two, but I guess he can't carry them all. And those people, they're people in those tents, they're watching. They want to see what he's going to do, and then they will be coming out of those tents. So, yep, this is what's going on, and coming up a little more in the future is okay. So this is the money that he's been accumulating, the ill-gotten gains. When this is upright, it's all about having worked hard and keeping the nose to the grindstone. But you can see this guy he's not really hands-on. So it's, to me, it's entitlement thinking that this is coming. So I want to add a little bit of, let's see, just another one of these, more of the future. The devil in reverse, which is, this is funny because I would say this is not going to bring people together like it is when this is upright, but this is people leaving the devil. There are just more people leaving the devil, which is him. I've been waiting for this to come up. So, okay, so in this whole thing, I want to draw how he sees himself. Oh my goodness. How he sees himself is, you can't make this stuff up. He sees himself as hot devil. We got hot, see, this is ugly devil, and then we got hot devil. He sees himself as the really hot. In fact, he's made memes where he's AI with a body like that. Are you kidding me? Okay, so he sees himself as a hot devil, and he's going to just tempt the world in with his charm. As he thinks, I bet he thinks, well, he thinks that Canada's negotiating this. He's thinking that I'll seduce the rest of the world into the annexation of Canada. How the rest of the world sees him, just another corrupt dictator. He's just piling the money in. They know he's all about the money, and they don't want anything to do with him. So no, he won't get other people on board. So in hopes and fears, we have hoping that he's going to get the rest of the world with him, or at least he's going to get, I'll say, you got one for Russia and the other for North Korea, maybe Iran. But so he thinks that as he looks at the globe, but he's kind of looking out at a pretty empty sea. So that's an illusion. That's his hope. And the fear is The fear is that actually he's afraid he's going to be alone in this. Then he's going to tie himself up in all kinds of crazy thoughts and become a complete martyr. A complete martyr with a blindfold, and will not be able to see why the rest of the world doesn't think it's a great idea for him to annex Canada. So it's not that surprising to see that he's just not going to get any support with this. So that what this is telling me, that there's probably a good chance that he's going to backpedal. So I'm just going to do just a few cards on about this trip to the UK. And for some reason I thought after this I don't think there's going to be any trip, so I want to see if there's going to be. So what I'll do is I'll use this Royale deck to see if what there is with that. I guess he thinks he's just going to go and be loved. I thought that after that speech that he would find some excuse not to go, knowing, well, he's good. If he thought he got a bad reception the last time with the big baby balloons, they're probably getting those ready as I speak right now. This is kind of like the group of people that make a joke about somebody and that person doesn't get it and they thinks they really like them, and then they're just laughing at. Okay, so let's see. What about this trip to England in September? I always think that there's a chance it may not happen for a number of reasons. And the king invited him. And I think it's probably, let's see what he's going to do. I think it's one of those, not that he loves him, but let's see what's going through that crazy head of his. But it may be more trouble than it's worth. I think a lot is going to depend on what happens this summer. Okay, so we have the energy. We have the energy crossing it. The past and the future. Okay. So, I feel compelled to do this. Oh! I'll do the bottom of the deck thing so that we have the, setting this off, we have again the Eight of Swords, the self-pitying, up against the wall with our crazy thoughts thing. So that's interesting. Oh, I know that he's salivating and going to play king with the king. Okay, so the energy of this is, the Five of Cups in reverse. So, okay, I think he thinks that by then all his trouble, I think this is part of his fantasy world. He thinks that all of his troubles are going to be over and he'll move on. I think it's like in that whole delusional kind of energy around making Canada the 51st state. I think that the illusion will be he's not going to regret the past at all, and that he feels like he's going to go on and it's going to be from one king to another. So the energy around that is, walking away. Yes, walking away from, walking away from the States. This may be putting this in a whole different dimension, but I've mentioned this and other readers have mentioned this, that we want to go back to the trip to the Middle East. I was really picking up on the fact that if things go really bad, they're part of his plan B. So part of the whole thing for this trip may be that he's hoping that maybe he can, while he's over there, maybe get, maybe go see some of his dictator buddies if he feels like the plan B exit needs to be made. So this may be about part of his thing of leaving the States, but he's kind of stuck too. So in the past we have, I'm going to say in the past we have the celebration of the election, quote unquote, and this celebration, but it's chaotic, it's misdirected. That inauguration was okay. So the chaotic celebrating, and then the future we have the King of Cups, which was for so many of us the Biden card. But this symbolizes power with compassion. He rules with compassion. I would say there may be somebody waiting in the wings. That I have to. What is all of this stuff? Okay, the little dragons and okay. So this is quite a beautiful deck. So a lot of us feel that September is going to be a really crucial month. Whether it's the end of the regime or not, or the, further nails in the coffin of it, I don't know. But what this is saying is that there may be a more gentle and compassionate person waiting in the wings to, I don't know if it's to take over. I think I need to put a clarifier or two. But this could mean that England could be en route to one of those god awful places he loves so much, Saudi Arabia, or one of those places, or Syria, who knows. Okay, so, and I've also, Sterling has been saying, that the military is going to come in and if he even gets a whiff of that, or somebody, maybe he won't be cognitive, but if one of his handlers or enablers have any hint of that, to say, you're out of here, basically. So let me get a couple clarifiers. Okay. Queen of Pentacles in reverse, and for this type of reading, it is Homeland Security he's coming up as Queen's reverse. That is so bizarre. It's Homeland Security is in peril because of the money deals he's been making. So, that could be those walls could be closing in on him. Let's see what else. Another one of these is, we begin with the celebration with the Three of Cups here. Can't make this stuff up. We end with no more reason to celebrate because they're in reverse. And this is, I always think of them as they begin celebrating and then they get too drunk and everything goes out of control. Everything. Because there's been a lot of drugs and booze with this administration. So I'm going to say there is chaos, I would say, in the whole three, we've got the three branches of government. We've got Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court. The cabinet is loaded with alcoholics and addicts and crazy people. And then the military. The military, we've got the biggest drunk in the Department of Defense. What this is telling me is that by the time he goes to the UK, that administration could really, really be in shambles, and that the discovery that, right now we know our Homeland Security is in peril, but what this is telling me is that by then it's going to be too much for people to ignore. These jerks are in the biggest bunch of denial But what this is telling me is that they can't be, and that a wiser, I don't know if someone taking over him being president, but somebody wiser steps into this. So I did not expect this to go this way, but what this is telling me, it's very likely that things will be so bad that yeah, and he's going to get a pretty bad reception, I think, in there. That this could be part of his escape, his kind of like his escape plan, or part of his the first stop on the escape tour, because that's why I feel like he's not going to go to prison or anything. He's just been, this whole thing has been a big plan B. I think I just want to pull a card on what the result of his, if it's going to be of him going to the UK. I mean, it will be partly to play king with King Charles, but I also think that there's some meetings that he may have that will be his escape route if things, I mean, a lot can happen between now and September, but let's see. Just see, the result of this will be, the Page of Swords in reverse. The spy in the camp. There's going to be someone that betrays him, and that may set him off on his fleeing journey. Let's see what else we have. Then we have, all of this stuff that he has wanted to do, that he's gone boom, 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 with the Doge Boys and the Muskrat. It's been happening fast. This is in reverse, which means a lot of this stuff is going to stop, because someone will take a page out of his book and they're just going to get all of that stuff tied up in the courts. They're doing it already. Then let's see what, here we go. Here we go. Cannot make this up, the tower. Yeah, things are going to be so bad. An ordinary president would say, like, I can't leave my country now because the shit's hitting the fan big time. But with him, that's time to play golf. That's his time to that's his time to escape. So this is very interesting. I think that trip, I don't know that the king is going to, I'll pull a card or two and say, is the king going to rescind the invitation? Because I think that could be his plans for that, but whether it happens or not, let's see. We'll pull a card and see. Okay. Is the king going to rescind it? Four of Wands in reverse, which is the partnerships that the UK and Canada have had with the United States has really gone down the crapper. And that what this is saying, there's a chance he may take it back. I think he'll consider it. This is telling me if it would be just more trouble than it's worth, he might cut it short. He could claim his health, though. He could really claim, I'm just not up to it. So let's see. Then we have here the Queen of Swords. There could be some legalities as far as I don't think he's, except for the Vatican, he hasn't set foot in Europe, because there could be some international justice thing, and of course it'll be a woman to make him crazier. So let's see if truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out big time. Which I will say that, see what's on the bottom of this. As he sits there being his smug merchant, not thinking anything is going to happen. I will put it this way. King Charles might heavily consider it. At this point, he may be having second thoughts of it, but thinking, I've still got some time and that I don't think he knows, but I think he's looking at that as a possibility. So, at any rate, people may think that this whole thing is kind of a minor deal, just another distraction, but I really think a lot happened. And the interesting thing is that this really shows his denial and cognitive functions for him not to even get that. I don't think you have to be that, I think that someone that doesn't do nuance or double entendres, I think even a person like that would probably have gotten it, a lot of what he said without mentioning the name. But the fact that he didn't is saying, I really take a look at his mental state. This is serious. Okay, so at any rate, that's it for me. So bye.